So I wanted to say we had teams from the FBI, we have investigative teams from the Department of Justice. All crime scenes have been cleared and secure and have been processed. I'm going to let Special Agent in Charge, Sacramento FBI, Sean Reagan, speak to you a little bit about that. Right now, we are doing follow-up investigations, contacting victims for statements. We will be pursuing that diligently in the next few days. But as far as the scenes out here, we are done processing the immediate scenes. I do need to say that the citizens of Rancho Tehama, they need to check on each other, they need to check on their neighbors, because this individual was literally going up and down the road and shooting at random structures. So it is possible that you may have a neighbor or somebody that could be injured or hurt that we are not aware of. So be diligent of your surroundings. If you see something out of the ordinary, please call our office and let us know. We'll follow up on those leads if we get those. So right now I'd like to introduce Sean Reagan, Special Agent in Charge of the the Sacramento Field Office of the FBI. Sean?
Thanks. Good morning, everybody. Thank you to the Sheriff's Department and all our partner agencies. Let me just start out by expressing our deepest sympathies to the victims, the witnesses, their families. This was a tragic event and a truly heinous crime, and so our heartfelt sympathies and condolences go out to all. So we are here as the FBI in a supporting role. We're here to help with the investigation, support the Sheriff's Office, support our partner agencies with this very critical investigation. Our primary focus at the Sheriff's Office request was to bring evidence response teams, our FBI evidence response teams from our Sacramento office as well as our San Francisco office. We brought them up here yesterday and we were detailed to process the crime scene at the school, so the shooting scene at the school. So we had approximately 30 of our specialized folks up here processing that scene. They finished early this morning, late last night. And we will process that evidence, analyze it, put together reports, and we will then turn that over to the Sheriff's Office for their investigation. We obviously remain up here, and we will stand by to assist in any way we can, in any way we're asked to. Let me just say that great partnership up here in terms of law enforcement and the community, in terms of coming together to help victims, help the community, and to investigate this truly senseless crime, senseless event. So that's it for me, and I'll turn it back over to you, Assistant Sheriff.
So right now I'm going to introduce District Attorney Greg Cohen. He can provide you with a little information about what his unit has done and what he knows about the shooter in this incident. Greg?
Thank you, Assistant Sheriff Bill. Appreciate it. Goes without saying, heartfelt condolences for my community out here. Sheriff Henkrat said it best. He said it early. There's been a mass murder in Tehama County, and I hope the citizens, not only of Tehama County, but elsewhere who have expressed their heartfelt condolences, can heal from this. Just wanted to say a couple things. As the district attorney, I have three kind of pieces of involvement. One is the prosecution side, two is the investigative side, and three is the victim witness side. I want to talk just briefly about the victim witness side. We have a victim witness component of our office that was out here yesterday. We plan to be out here as well Thursday. We're dealing with the Corning School District right now, the elementary school district. In fact, at this moment, they're working together to start the process of providing services to those victims, specifically children, teachers, staff that were affected. The investigative side yesterday was involved with some of the initial concerns regarding the children in the school and they're still continuing to work on one of the aspects of the case, which was the officer-involved shooting aspect of the case. My desire today is not to answer questions. I'm going to be providing some video at about 2 o'clock coming out of my office, where I hope I'll be able to answer a lot of questions concerning what Neil was being prosecuted for by my office, and kind of a little bit more about the facts and circumstance of that case. As Assistant Sheriff Johnson said, Mr. Neil was out on bail on that case. That case stems from January. He bailed immediately from the jail, so he was able to make bail in the amount of $160,000, and he did not have the opportunity to come into court, so we would be in a position to request an increase in bail. So that's his right. Sheriff Johnson and I discussed it this morning. A person's innocent until proven guilty, so even though there might be a rush to justice in this situation as far as he should have been tried and convicted, that's not how our system works. The system works by being arrested, placed in jail, and then at that point a person, based on the Constitution, is entitled to bail. And that's what happened in this case. So, thank you. Assistant Sheriff?
So to let you know that this case has progressed quickly and efficiency was, I mean, it is just remarkable about how these teams came together in our law enforcement community, and we worked together to get this done in a quick, efficient manner. Barring any other remarkable incidents directly involved with this case, this will be the last media briefing unless we get new information. We are going to take some questions, not a lot, because like I said, we still have an ongoing investigation. You all know that the shooter was killed by officers. There's an officer-involved shooting protocol that we adhere to, and we don't discuss that typically until that investigation is concluded. So that may head off some questions regarding that. I do want to let you know that, again, there's been no officers physically injured. The officers that were involved in that shooting are at home resting. One of the officers, I think, is elected to continue to come back to work, but that's up to him. So we are going to have a critical incident debrief with the first responders. That'll take place later this week. Mental health officials will be involved in that. We are reaching out to the school to provide them with whatever assistance they need in that respect. We are planning, probably in 2 weeks, a large critical incident debrief involving all responders, including medical, CAL FIRE, all those people that responded. To let you know that there was literally hundreds of responders that responded to this call. We did, I have to say, I have to say thank you to the Red Cross, because you have hundreds of responders, and we can't let them all go. We can't clear them from the scene, and eventually they get hungry. So the Red Cross stepped up, provided meals, and we also had, we have to take care of these people. So I just want to say that this community came together, law enforcement came together, as tragic as it is. Like I said before, madman on the loose. So this case is remarkably cleared. We will move forward, and we will start the healing process. Okay? You have one.
What can you tell us about the fire?
Stop. Don't yell out. Do it in an orderly manner. We'll just do. Raise your hand, and I'll call upon you. Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about the firearms that he used in this crime? Were they legally obtained by him? And if so, was there any kind of seizure that was supposed to take place in light of the criminal matters that were pending?
Okay, here's what I know about the firearms. 2 semi-automatic rifles with multi-round clips were seized, a number of multi-round clips. These firearms are manufactured illegally, we believe, by him at his home. So they were obtained in an illegal manner, not through a legal process. They're not registered. Yes, ma'am.
With respect to the children at the school, did any of the deceased have children at the school, and did the neighbor next door have children at the school?
Sorry, repeat your question.
With respect to the children at the school, did any of the deceased have children at the school? Did the neighbor next door, who had the TRO on, did she have children at the school?
Yes. I'm aware of at least one.
Would it belong to the deceased or the neighbor?
We have a father of a child deceased that was at the school. He wasn't shot at the school.
That wasn't the neighbor.
At another.
That wasn't his neighbor that he had to dispute with.
No.
Somebody else.
Julie?
You said that there were other children injured at the school. Were any others shot, or was it?
One child shot at the school.
But
That's-
the others that were injured, they were not shot.
Yeah, residual, mostly glass, from flying glass, mostly. Flying debris. That gentleman right there had his hand up early.
I was talking to some neighbors of Mr. Neal, and he was a guy arrested for assault with a deadly weapon in January. He is, according to neighbors, deputies were called out a number of times in the very recent months because he was shooting his weapon off at all hours of the day and night, shotguns against semis. And is there anything that should have been done, now that you can look back, or could have been done at that time? Someone with a violent accusation against him, he's going to trial for it, and now he's shooting his weapons off in the middle of the night. Could something have been done?
I am aware of incidents where neighbors reported shots coming from that residence. On every time we responded, we would try to make contact with Mr. Neal. Like I said, he was not law enforcement friendly. He would not come to the door. Actually, his house was arranged in a manner where we couldn't detect him being there. So, and on at least 2 occasions, officers put the house under surveillance, hoping he would come back out. That didn't happen. You have to understand that we can't anticipate what people are going to do. We don't have a crystal ball. But he was not prohibited from owning firearms, but as long as he's shooting in a safe manner, he is within the law. But that not that we didn't investigate it, we did. We wanted to make contact. He is not law enforcement friendly, and he knows not to come to his door. Or he knew.
You mentioned yesterday that because the school immediately went under lockdown, that many lives were saved as a result of that. What more have you learned in terms of what those barriers did in terms of thwarting the shooter off, in terms of leaving quickly?
Well, I think he became, first, let me say, a number of magazines, firearm clips were found there. So I believe he, during his assault of the school, lost some of his ammunition. Secondly, I believe that not being able to penetrate the doorways or enter the school frustrated him. And just looking at the videotape of that incident, I think that he became frustrated. I'm here too long, because there's no doubt that he did not want to give up. So I think he elected to find other targets. I mean, it is monumental that school went on lockdown. I really truly believe that we would have had a horrific bloodbath in that school if that school hadn't taken the action when they did. Early onset, the sound of gunfire away from the school, they went on immediate lockdown, and they had practiced it. So I can't say how important that is.
Just a quick follow-up. I mean, there seems to be a lesson for other schools throughout the nation, that here's an example of an activity or that works.
I think we can use it as an example of what they did right, but I urge all schools to practice these drills. We live in an age where we just don't know, deranged people target these children, and it's a very terrible thing that we're living with in this country. I'm very sad for it, but the only thing we can do is prepare. We can prepare the best we can. We're never going to stop crime, and we're never going to stop people that are bent on doing destruction. It's going to happen. We just need to try to prepare the best we can to save lives. Yes, sir.
There was a domestic violence call at Neil's home on Monday. That's correct.
Okay.
Was that a call that was made by his wife? Can you elaborate on the nature of
Let
that call?
me elaborate on that. That was not an actual call made to the sheriff's office for request or for assistance. This is reported by neighbors when we started investigating this crime. They thought there was a domestic incident between Mr. Neil and his wife on Monday, unreported to the sheriff's office.
Okay, so no one called. Okay.
No one called it in. But I think that was a very common thing with this couple in that neighborhood. So quite honestly, okay, they're back at it again. Preliminarily, we believe she was killed on Monday.
Could you elaborate about that, about how her body was hidden, you said?
He had literally cut a hole in his floor. We're confident that he murdered her, shot her at some point, probably late Monday, and literally just put her body in the floor and covered it up. Who? Cecile.
You referred to family members that you couldn't find yesterday. Was she who you were talking about, and has everyone else been accounted for?
That's correct. That's who we were most concerned about. Her car was currently at the house. We didn't have her located. We were trying to ping her phone to locate her, to see if she was all right. We early on suspected that something had happened to her.
Back here. Go ahead.
I haven't picked on anybody way in the back. You, sir.
I'm sorry, so court records seem to show that he was prohibited from having firearms, and in fact he signed something saying he turned them in. Can you address that? And if the firing was going on, was there a missed opportunity there if he was not supposed to have them, still having them?
I'm aware that he was prohibited under a restraining order clause, but you have to understand, I don't really have the information on if he had turned in firearms, but the firearms used in this incident, we are confident that were manufactured by him in his home.
Including the handguns?
The handguns, I don't have a lot of information. That they are not, I am told, they are not registered to him.
Can you elaborate just a little bit on that manufactured element? Were these partially complete receivers that he had ordered online and put together?
I really don't.
Kits
he can get parts through a variety of sources, and they come together and they can build them in their shop or they can build them in their garage. And we're seeing that the more restrictive that the laws come to people to purchase firearms, we're going to see those criminal elements build their own. That's what they do. Does that help you? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you address concerns that I'm hearing from residents in this community about the lack of presence of sheriff's patrols, as well as a resident who said she called 911 approximately a week ago after hearing a couple screaming and fighting and then gunshot on Bobcat Lane?
Well, I'll address this, that through the last 6 years, we've increased patrol deputies on our streets. I will say this, you've all driven out here. We don't have a deputy assigned here all the time. We have a response, lengthy response occasionally, but our deputies do come here on routine patrol, just like we have other isolated areas of our county that doesn't get 24-hour service and 24-hour patrol. We can't do it. It's impractical for the resources that we have. Would I love to put a deputy on every corner? Absolutely. Can I do it? No.
And the 911 call?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know about that call. I just don't have that information. I can't really comment on it because I really don't know. Okay, you.
A lot of local residents have firearms. Are you aware of anybody, any local residents attempting to intervene or engage this person in combat? And then also, can you give me the arrival time? The first call came in at 7:52.
Okay.
When was the first deputy on scene?
I'm going to let you know that the actual times are this. First call, as recorded by our computer system at dispatch, 7:54 in the morning. The very last thing is the officer-involved shooting, where the shooter was neutralized, and that was at 0:19 or 08:19. So from 7:54 to 8:19 was the duration of this event. Everything took place between those times. So it's not very long.
25 minutes.
Sure.
45.
Yeah. Yesterday, I think I reported about 45 minutes. But to let you know, when you're out in the field and this is going on, it seems like forever. So the other part of your question was, did anybody intervene? So you have to understand, this individual's going down the road picking targets. He chased people with his vehicle, shooting at them. Do I know of a person that tried to intervene? Yes. So female in the vehicle, the F-250, that was shot driving her children to school, does have a concealed carry permit. Although being shot, she did pull out her handgun. She was not able to use it and did not fire it because he, after dumping about 8 or so rounds into the side panel of her driver's door, he continued to flee. He just left. So she did have it. Yesterday when I encountered her, not knowing what we had, it was while I was responding, I did take that firearm for safekeeping. That will be returned to her as soon as we can. Matter of fact, we have been in contact with her husband, who is going to make arrangements to come get it.
Can I follow up back here? On the firearms, the prohibition, the clerk's office said that was entered into the CLET system immediately back in, I believe, April. So your deputies would have been aware of him not being allowed to have firearms. You were saying you didn't know whether that was the case. Can you elaborate on that?
I can elaborate that we would receive calls that he was shooting. No deputies observed it. This is why they tried to do surveillance of him to catch him. And that's all I can say about that, is we've tried to make contact with him. We've tried to use other avenues to get to it. But quite honestly, the neighbors up there weren't real forthcoming either. They do, and they also had firearms, and they frequently shot also. Yes, sir?
You mentioned 14 victims. Can you reiterate how many of those are still in the hospital and their conditions?
I am aware that we have one child currently being treated at UC Davis, one adult currently in critical condition at Inlow, one adult male admitted at Mercy Medical Center, another adult male admitted at Mercy Medical Center. Beyond that, it appears, I actually have another adult male at Inlow, and he was admitted. Those individuals, other than the ones I told you were critical, are in stable condition. No other admittees. We have an individual that was involved in the officer-involved shooting that was admitted. The shooter was chasing him down the road when the officers encountered him, firing multiple rounds.
What do you think set him off?
What do I think set him off? Other than speculation on my part, which wouldn't be appropriate, I can only say that watching a news report where it was reported that he telephoned his mother and said something to the effect late Monday night that it's over. I don't know. Other than that, I really don't know what his motive was. I think he was just on a rampage. I think he had a desire to kill as many people as he could. And whether or not he had a desire to die at the hands of the police or whatever, I don't know, but I am so grateful that those officers took the action they did in the face of an actual gunfight. They looked it right in the eye and took it on. So that's going to conclude. I'm not going to entertain any other questions. That's it. I'm done. I'll turn it back over to the sheriff and he can talk a little more. Thank you.
Well, yeah, so we're done with the questions. We appreciate it. You know, we could what if this thing for a long time, but one thing I want to close with is we talked a lot about, and you guys have mentioned and asked us, not just us, but first responders, law enforcement, you know, what do we do? How do we prevent these things? And I want to point out that the school, like we've talked about before, are some of the heroes in this case. But you know, you guys have to also realize, and the public needs to realize, that these are dynamic situations. Not everything works in every situation. So keep that in mind as you guys broadcast and talk to constituents. They're very dynamic. They're ever evolving. It's sad we even have to talk about it, but it happens more frequently. So again, if we learn something that's significant, we will put it out. We will call for a conference, but we're going to be probably wrapping it up as far as official press releases. And we do appreciate you all, your patience, you guys coming and respecting our work and the privacy, the residency of our citizens too. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody.